Parents, this one's for us, but kids, earmuffs, don't listen. It's called The Elf on the Shelf, and unless you've been hitting the eggnog too hard, you know this little elf is taking the nation by storm. But to hear moms Laura Nanos and Michelle Soleo tell it, it's going too far. Now, in the break, you guys, you told me a bunch of stuff about this elf that I had no idea. Go ahead, take it away, Laura.
There's a lot of rules with the elf. You have to be very careful.
Don't touch that elf.
No, you can't touch the elf. If you're doing it right, you can't touch it. Otherwise, it loses its magic.
And it can't fly back to the North Pole
And report on your child.
kids.
Yeah.
He's a spy is really what he is.
What the heck are you talking? It's a little felt elf.
No, don't. You're getting too close to it.
Yes, you're making me a little bit nervous.
What do you mean I can't get close to it either?
Sitting very close
What
to
he
the
has
elf.
to do is he has to spy on your kids all day long, and then at night he goes and reports to Santa all the things that your kids did.
How do you guys know
good
so
or
much
bad.
about Elf on the Shelf?
Listen,
Because we have
little kids. We understand
All right,
what's
tell me
expected.
about it. What happened?
Well, I mean, listen, my nephew, I told him that I wanted to take some pictures with his Elf on the Shelf. So first he refused until he got a personalized text message from Santa saying that it was okay for the elf to be in the photo shoot. And then we had to pick it up with kitchen tongs, holding it from the personalized knit scarf around the elf's neck, okay?
Oh, you don't look very happy with your elf at all.
You're pretty close to that
He doesn't
elf.
smell.
I know, but I just don't.
No, she's not touching it, though, you say.
I'm being very careful not to touch it.
Now, go ahead. You have elf stories, Elf on the Shelf
It's
stories
just that I don't mind the elf. I kind of like the elf. It keeps my kids in line. You know, he's a direct line to Santa, and it answers those kind of annoying logistical questions that your 10-year-old might have about, well, how does Santa know if I'm being good or not? So, yeah, I kind of like him, except when the crafty moms at school get a hold of the elf, and then the next morning, you know, oh, look what the Elf on the Shelf brought for you, home-baked mini cupcakes for you. And then my kid
there's
comes
a lot
home
of
from school
competition.
and says, oh, Tiffany's elf brought him cupcakes. Now I'm like, well, your elf doesn't bake. Okay?
Some of the elves are actually staging full-scale parties in people's houses.
Yes.
You get up, the door is gift wrapped, there's mayhem all over the house that the elf caused. This is a lot of work.
Michelle, I have a problem with something you just said. So these elves actually like rat out the kids when they're naughty?
Yeah, yeah.
They watch?
They're watching all the time. The elf is watching all the time. And again, you're not allowed to touch it because if you touch it, then it doesn't have any magic to fly back to the North Pole. Although my 6-year-old likes to test that every now and then.
Wait, did the kids talk to the elves?
Well,
I don't think my 6-year-old buys it. My 10-year-old is totally into
yes,
it.
the older the kid, the more fervent the belief. You know why? Because they're hedging their bets. They want to make sure if there's an Xbox coming, they want to make sure that they have the best chance possible to get it.
That's right.
Okay, so how long has this been going on?
This goes on the day after Thanksgiving, and it tortures us until Christmas Eve night. You have to, and like people send out posts on Facebook. Don't forget your elves.
You got to take pictures of the elf.
Because
Some people have elves in the classroom.
Those elves in the classroom.
There's a classroom elf. There's a lot of elves going on.
Actually, we had a hard time finding this. It was like sold out everywhere.
Yes. Because if your kid is the one kid without the elf, then think about how your kid feels.
Because then Santa doesn't know whether or not that kid was good. The kid's going to think that he doesn't get any Christmas presents. It's terrible.
So wait a minute. So there's this whole feeling amongst kids that unless you have an elf on the shelf, you might not get presents?
Well, how would you feel?
Well, because, I don't know. What's the elf got to do with it?
Well,
he's felt.
He's not going to tell Santa all the good things. I mean, like, it helps when you're trying to figure, like, I heard of an elf that came with bags, empty bags, and told the kids that you have to fill up these bags with toys you don't want anymore.
Oh, charitable elf.
Right, the charitable elf.
See, now you guys are hitting on something. Maybe parents can use the elf to get their kids to do stuff that they wouldn't have normally done.
When the elf is motivating, it's good. But when it's forcing moms to be crafty.
You know what it really might come down to? Moms taking the elf just a little bit too seriously.
I think the government should learn something.
We're going to have to leave it there. We're going to say thank you to Laura Nanos and Michelle Soleo. Thank you. Merry Christmas,
Merry
you guys.
Christmas.
And your family. All right, that's going to